Hello guys, gals, non-binary pals, and welcome to my YouTube channel. As you can see, I've rearranged my room slightly so you can see most of my library in the background here. I might have to get a new shelf for all the new books I've been buying. Oops. My bed is also now against the window, so I just have this bright white light behind me, but you know what? It's fine. We can work with that. I wanted the books in the picture, and I'm not sitting on my bed. There's just this weird expanse of legs. That was like all I could see, so we're sitting here. It's gonna work for now. Cat Sebastian's first Women Loving Women romance novella comes out on Tuesday. It's called A Little Light Mischief. You can pre-order it on Amazon or any bookseller of your choice. And in honor of that, I wanted to do a video that's been a long time coming, which is FF romance recommendations. First of all, I'm going to start with novels. There aren't very many of them. I've discussed this before, I won't harp on about it. There are more that exist. These are just the two that I've read. I'm always looking for recommendations and ones that are coming out. If you know any that are coming out soon, or if you have any recommendations that have already come out, let me know and I'll add them to my TBR. First book is one that I read recently. This is Her Royal Highness by Rachel Hawkins. This is the second book in the Royals series. I haven't read the first one, you don't need to. It is remarkably similar to Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston in that a bi person from Texas falls in love with a member of a royal family from across the pond, but this time it's women loving women. So a young woman is accepted to a boarding school in Scotland, and who should also be going there and is her roommate but the Princess of Scotland. This is sort of an alternate universe where Scotland has its own royal family and probably its own sovereignty. They don't really discuss like the history of how Scotland came to be its own autonomous country, but anyway, UK politics. It's an enemies to lovers, which is great. It's not perfect, it has a lot of cliches, but a lot of the times cliches can be great if they're done in a new light, such as with two women rather than a woman and a man. I think that the progression of the princess and the main character's relationship is very sweet and realistic in that they slowly become friends and then something more. I wish that the denouement had come sooner in the books so we could have gotten more like fallout of them being a couple together in this post-out world. Kind of like, not to compare it too much to Red, White, and Royal Blue, but there was more of a wrap-up in that one of talking about what is it like to be the first same-sex couple of a major kingdom. There is some discussion of homophobia. That's kind of like the central conflict in the book, so just trigger warning for that. But overall, I enjoyed it, and it was really fun on audiobook. Next is a book that when I first heard it was coming out made me fall on the floor, and it was wonderful. It's The Lady's Guide to Celestial Mechanics by Olivia Waite. This is unlike any romance novel I've ever read, not just in that it's about women loving women. I mean, a lot of romance is really wonderful and talks about things not just romance and sex related, but there's a lot of other stuff going on. In this book especially, it gets into not only the relationship between the two characters, but also art versus science, and art and science, and how those two can be wedded together in a really beautiful way. Also the value of women's work, not just in traditionally male fields, but also traditionally feminine fields. So, as a background, Lucy is an astronomer who is asked to translate the work of a French astronomer into English, and her patroness is Lady Catherine Moth, whose husband was an explorer and he's recently died. While Lucy is translating this manuscript, she ends up living at Lady Moth's house. They fall in love. Lady Moth is a wonderful artiste of an embroideress. She does embroidery. And as someone who's gotten into embroidery and cross stitch in the last few years, I loved all the discussions of how embroidery is an art, and especially the way that Catherine does it. She does some really incredible artwork with it, where she went on her husband's expeditions and embroidered the plants and animals that she saw. And Lucy kind of has to build her up and say, you are an artist and these things that you do are really beautiful and worthwhile. And there's a wonderful ending and twist that I won't spoil. There's basically Black Charles Babbage. There's a lot of like alternate history in this world. I guess Olivia Waite didn't just want to use like real scientists of the time, but also that could have been cool if like They're just like, oh yeah, Mary Somerville is here. It's like, oh cool, Mary Somerville. Oh, Carolyn Herschel's here too, awesome. Because it's kind of about like women finding a place in this Royal Astronomical Society, but also like women were there. So I don't know. Maybe Olivia Wade just didn't want to deal with real life people because she made the Charles Babbage character black, which is awesome, but it's also like, this world in history is going to go down a very different path, I feel like, but that's neither here nor there. History nerd in me is like, what's happening? Anyway, so that is a very highly recommended romance novel, not just because it's FF, but because of all of the aforementioned things. Next are the novellas. First one is the first one that I read, which is Once Ghosted, Twice Shy by Alyssa Cole. You will now have that song stuck in your head all day. I'm deeply sorry. This is the 1.5th novel in the Reluctant Royals series. Alyssa Cole is probably the best contemporary romance novelist writing right now. She hasn't won a Rita yet, which is just fucked up, but anyway, I think this was Avon's first published FF anything, and it has two beautiful black women on the cover, one of whom is wearing a suit. I mean, you can see it right here, maybe? I don't know where I'm gonna put it. The cover's gorgeous. It's a really cute story. It's both a like first meeting and second chance story because one character's POV is from a year before when like they first met, and one character's POV is about a year after they meet when they've separated and now they're coming together again. It's been like one more weekend together. So because of some extraneous circumstances, they were apart for a while, so the like meet girl, lose girl, win girl back kind of happen out of order, which is really neat. It's just a sweet story about these two women wandering around New York and being adorable. Fabiola, one of the main characters, she runs an Instagram for vintage fashion that she wears. It's super cute. As a little bit of background about this series, in the first book, there is this sort of Wakanda-like African country called Thesolo. The main characters from Prince on Paper, the first Reluctant Royals book, are from that country. Then the prince of that book's advisor, she's the one who is one of the main characters, so she gets her own romance. It's fairly short, I think it's like under 200 pages, so it's a quick read, but it's very cute, so highly recommended, and just that whole series is absolutely wonderful. A delight. Next is Romancing the Inventor by Go Carriger. This is part of her Parasol Protectorate series, of which I've only read, I think, 2 novels, but you don't need to. All you have to know is there's vampires and werewolves in Victorian London. That's it. There's a young woman who decides to become a maid for a nearby vampire's manor. The vampires, they're jerks, but anyway, they are kind of keeping this inventor. I guess captive is the right word. She's like indentured to them. She did something bad in the previous books. I don't know, I don't care. Something about a mechanical spider, but anyway, she stays because she has this like lab that she gets to work in. So the maid starts to become her assistant. The maid finds out she's really good with numbers and is able to help the inventor work out her figures, and they start working together, but then there's like vampire werewolf politics, but it's absolutely adorable. Like, I was on the plane like, this is so cute when I was reading it a few months ago, so yeah, it's wonderful. Again, fairly short, so a quick read, but just so cute, so well written. And the last novella I have to recommend for you is Proper English by K.J. Charles. This is also part of a series. I read it out of order, so it's all good. The first one, Think of England, is also very good. They are Edwardian Agatha Christie style romance mysteries. They both take place at manor houses during parties, which is just peak Agatha Christie. So this one takes place at a shooting party, and one of the women is a great shot, and the other one is engaged to her brother, maybe? Anyway, but then like the brother's gay and the sister's gay. It's great. It's all gay up in this house. They get together very quickly, and I think the ending is kind of like a happy for now because they've only known each other for like 4 days, but there's great intrigue and action. I love everything that K.J. Charles writes. She's one of my favorite romance authors. I think I read somewhere she might be coming out with a full FF novel, which would be amazing, but so far this is the only FF thing that she's written. I think she and Cat Sebastian pair together really well. They work with a lot of the same themes, same ideas, same time periods, but they both write in very different ways. KJ Charles does more like intrigue, suspense stuff, and then Cat Sebastian is just all fluff. It's great. The Cat Sebastian novella coming out, A Little Light Mischief, is part of the Turner series, which she finished a few years ago now, I think, and it stars one of the side characters of the first book. She's a maid. I think there's some burglary involved, but it's only like 96 pages, so I'm sure I'll finish it on like whenever it shows up on my Kindle. So you can pre-order that now, like I said. Also, order or get from the library any of the novels that I just talked about, and I think and hope that we're really going to see more and more FF romance the next few years. I wanted to talk real quick about some books that I've bought recently. This is not all of them. I've bought more. I just put them away on my shelf already. First, I already read this. This is Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me. This has a lesbian character, but it's not a romance. It's actually like an anti-romance because Laura Dean, who keeps breaking up with her, is an emotionally abusive jerk. So romance is part of this, but it's not like, you know, a traditional romance with a happy ever after between the main characters. It's the central, like, emotional heart of it is about a female friendship. Oh, and it's a graphic novel. Mariko Tamaki's been doing some amazing stuff lately. This is first, second. They're doing just amazing stuff the last few years. Next, my dad and I went to the local Air and Flight Museum recently. I ran over to the bookshelf section in the gift shop and started just piling all the female pilot books into my arms. My dad was like, I'll buy you one. So I got The Flight Girls by Noelle Salazar. This is about WASP, that's Women Auxiliary something pilots in World War II. It's fictional but based on the lives of a few real people. I'm definitely doing a women pilot video coming up very soon here. Next is Empress of Forever by Max Gladstone. I was so pumped to get this. I bought it at a little independent bookstore, and I was really glad they had it in paperback and not hardcover. This is described as like a lesbian Guardians of the Galaxy space opera. Max Gladstone did the craft sequence, now he's working on this, and it has like a female, oh my god, what's that fool's name? He would hate that I forgot his name. Tesla guy. Anyway, female Tesla guy. You know, the billionaire dude. What's his name? Shit, SpaceX man, you know. And then I got this in June, I think. This is Rebel by Beverly Jenkins. I gotta get so much closer to the camera nowadays. It's a, like, reconstruction romance, as you can see. I also bought This Is How You Lose the Time War on my Kindle, so that was by Max Gladstone and Amal El-Motar, which was also a romance between two women, but I hesitate to call it a romance because it's like, I would put it in the same genre as The New Weird with like Jeff Vandermeer. It's just super trippy. People have described it as Good Omens meets Doctor Who, which sounds like an amazing premise, but it's so much weirder than that. It's very strange. So I enjoyed that one, but it's not like my usual go-to. I really don't like The New Weird all that much. I like a straightforward story, and this story was anything but if that sounds like something you would like, go ahead and check it out. It's a novella, so it's a decent price. I'm in a reading slump a little bit lately. Despite the fact that I read 22 books in July, they were mostly comics, which do count, but at the same time, it's like, I can't finish a full novel to save my life. And I haven't listened to an audiobook in so long because I can't find any from the library because I'm like too picky for my own good. So, alright, I've rambled on long enough. Thank you all so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. Leave me an old review. Tell me what you think. Have any requests, any comments. I will see you next time. Bye!